This video is not for whales and dolphins. It's for you, because you are just like me. Average Life Gamer here, and today I want to talk about why I'm not skipping Miyabi, because if you couldn't tell from my guide video, yeah, I think that she's the strongest character that we've seen yet. But Astra and Evelyn just got marketed, and honestly, they look sick. So why should you pull for Miyabi, or why should you wait for Fire Mummy? I mean, Evelyn. Yep. That's right, normal service has resumed, guide time is over, back to goonery. I joke, but let's talk value for Miyabi first, and why I'm going to pull her, why that might not be the smartest play, and then also why it's not really a big deal if you wanted to skip. So, as discussed already in the guide video, Miyabi's multipliers are insane, and she definitely is the strongest character we've seen yet in Zenless Zero, even without her signature engine. Oh yeah, that pesky signature engine. That is an anomaly engine, but has crit scaling. It definitely is head and shoulders above the rest of her engine options, but it's far from necessary. Miyabi is still an incredible character at M0 with an A-rank anomaly craftable Wenjin. But considering that her Wenjin makes her way easier to build because it gives her crit and because players are lazy, and it's going to take a lot longer to build a good Miyabi without her Wenjin, but some players are probably thinking that due to that they could just skip her instead and bank the polychrome for Step on Me. I mean Astra. And that does make sense, but it's not the right reason to skip her. So skip Miyabi if you don't like the look of her or enjoy her character by all means, but don't cope that it's because you're free to play and the Wenjin is expensive. And that's for one key reason. She's an absolute monster without it. Her kit multipliers are still the biggest we've seen yet, and yeah, she benefits from her engine massively, but in my experience testing her with Weeping Gemini and Rainforest Gourmet, she would be stronger than any other DPS with an A-rank Wenjin. So in terms of DPS characters, if Juyuan is a 7 and Jane is an 8, Miyabi would be a 9 without her engine. And yeah, she would be a 10 with her engine, but she's perfectly serviceable without it, which is kind of the same as her teams. If you have a limited S rank that can support her, Yanagi, Bernice, or Lighter, you will be flying. But even without them, you'll be fine. Yep, the Lycan and Sukaku core you've been using since Ellen will be great. Heck, you can even run Sukaku and Piper, which are the two characters on Miyabi's banner. It might have a bit more synergy if you use Lucy instead of Sukaku, but we got a free Lucy a few weeks ago, and if you weren't playing at that time, once you've gotten your Miyabi, you could always chuck a few pulls at Haramasa's banner, which is where Lucy is. You can run her in a weird hyper carry team, you could probably just run her solo or just with Sukaku and still clear one side of Shiyu absolutely fine. And that is why I'm gonna pull her, because she's so incredibly versatile, she's fun to play, and I really love how badass she is. But as I mentioned earlier, is it really the smartest play to pull for Miyabi at the start of her banner? No. Because Miyabi is going to be available for the entirety of patch 1.4, and this means you'll have plenty of opportunity to get her, and more specifically, you'll be able to await more news on the 1.5 characters to see how good they look at the end of 1.4. And then make the call as to whether or not you're going to pull Miyabi, or if maybe Astra is the perfect support for your Juyuan and you love Juyuan, maybe wait for that news before you commit one way or the other. And that would be fully taking advantage of the fact that Miyabi will be on banner for 35 days. Not only this, but due to the additional story and events in 1.4, even a casual player will probably pick up 100 or more pulls, so it's not outside the realms of possibility for your plans to change once you actually get towards the end of 1.4 and you have a lot more pulls to think about. Which is also why I think that with how good Miyabi's engine is, it's less of a big deal because you kind of have no one else to pull for 35 days. Sorry, Haramasa. So if you're sitting on a bunch of pulls and you're really enjoying your Miyabi, you could spend them on her weapon to get the most out of her. And normally I do suggest against getting weapons, but considering the length of this patch and all of the freebies that we're likely to get, even I will be thinking about it. We'll move on to talking about why you should skip in just a moment, but just before that, this is your reminder that you probably aren't subscribed. Liking and subscribing really helps to support creators like me. Plus, then you'll get to see my full thoughts on Astra and Evelyn coming very soon. If you feel like you need help or just want to vibe with some chill peeps and chat Zenless Zero, then join my Discord. And if you're interested in streams where you can chat with me live, drop me a follow on Twitch. Anyway, back on topic. If you want to skip, here's why. She might be the strongest character we've seen yet, but if you don't want to use her because she doesn't seem fun to you, then you don't have to get her. I do think that Miyabi will be the exception and not the norm in terms of character power. Remember, she is a Void Hunter, and in the lore, she is clearly supposed to be the strongest character that we've seen yet. Therefore, in-game she lives up to that, but it won't invalidate your Jane team, for example. And there's no way that Hoya will make the content so hard that you actually need to get Miyabi. Now, they are pushing players to get her more so than any other character because she's running for almost double the time on a banner where she's running next to a character who's being given away for free. So it's probably expected that most players will pick up Miyabi. But again, if you're in the minority because you're playing Nicole Simulator with Polychrome and you really want to make sure that you have enough for Astra, don't stress too much on missing out on a quote meta unquote unit. However, I will mention that I would expect another small increase in difficulty for the regular clear content like Shiyu critical nodes, but it's definitely not going to be unclearable without Miyabi. And I don't think we'll start to see characters with higher and higher numbers, with Miyabi being the start of that, because it would invalidate everything that came before Miyabi. And rampant power creep like that would leave a pretty poor taste in most players' mouths. So it feels very unlikely that that's what will happen. And again, if you feel like you're going to be playing her suboptimally because maybe you would prefer to stick with your existing teams and you can't really slot her in right now, that is also fine, because Miyabi is our first Void Hunter, and I imagine if you're going to stick with the game for a while, she will be back. She will rerun, and if we look at an example like Genshin, the Archon characters rerun more frequently than any other characters. So in the coming years, she'll probably rerun relatively frequently because not only is she our first Void Hunter, but she's also an incredibly popular character. So people will want her to come back around. Maybe they skipped, maybe they weren't playing at the time, maybe they want her engine or a Mindscape, which is to say that this will not be your only chance to secure your Void Hunter. Sure, you might feel some FOMO in a few months if you did have to skip due to Polychrome at this point, but it'll come around again before you know it, and also there will definitely be agents that are just as exciting or potentially more so very soon. And on the subject of the Wenjin, I kind of have already said that you shouldn't really care that much about it, but getting Miyabi and not getting her engine to help her out with crit stats is going to make her really tough to build. And as much as you can still make her good, absolutely, it's a lot more of a commitment to farming seemingly endless drive discs hunting for crit substats, as opposed to just sticking her Wenjin on her and being basically already done. So even though I mentioned that she's still incredible without her weapon, I can see why some players might not want to commit to building her up if they can't also commit to her engine because of Polychrome. And on the subject of FOMO, if you originally wanted to skip Miyabi, but all of the pre-release content has gotten you feeling like you have to now get Miyabi, don't get too swept up in the hype. It's okay to skip a character because you're not feeling their design or you're really feeling someone else's design. You will be okay to skip. Just do what you want, sure. Watch content and read stuff to help you make your mind up, sure. But it's your decision at the end of the day, so make sure it is your decision. Don't feel pressured into anything. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. I'm going to be pulling Miyabi this Thursday evening. The times will be on my Twitch schedule and the events tab on my Discord. Now, if you missed it and you're interested, my Miyabi guide should pop up now. I'm off now to rewatch Astra's trailer. Look at Evelyn fan art. Oh, damn it. Remember, though, to like and subscribe for better than average luck on your pulls. Stay weird, pull responsibly. Bye.